Hi, this is Duct Tape Susie, and this is an inside out wallet tutorial. So first you're going to need 1 to 2 different colors of tape or pattern. You're going to need a ruler, scissors, X-Acto knife, some sort of cutting surface, ziplock that is measured 3 3/4 of an inch, and some sort of plastic for your ID. Now we're going to get started on making the ziplock coin pouch part. You're going to want to separate your 2 pieces of ziplock and cut 4 strips that are 3 3/4 of an inch long. Take one of your ziplocks, lie it flat down, grab one of your strips of tape, and what you're going to do here is line it right up to the top of the ziplock, but you don't want to cover your ziplock, just the baggy part. And then you just, after you have that on there, you just flip it over onto itself and take your second strip, and now you're going to cover the bottom part of the ziplock baggie, not the ziplock, otherwise it won't zip. So now we're going to measure this so it's 3 inches in width. So you grab your next piece of tape and you want to line it up with like a ruler or your mat and lie it right at the 3-inch mark and lie it onto it. Flip it over. Take this last piece, cut it in half. Take the half strip to cover up your remaining sticky. And you're going to do this to your other pocket as well, or your other ziplock. And then when we come back, we'll finish putting it together. Alright, now that you have them both nicely trimmed on the sides, any excess is all taken off, and they're all, now you're gonna zip them together. When you zip them together, you want to hear the snap, because if you don't hear the snap, it won't function properly. So once you hear the snap, we're going to cut one strip that is 3 3/4 of an inch long. Cut that in half. We're going to take one strip, and you're going to cover the bottom part. Just lie it down, flip it over, and then just fold over the remaining sticky. And now you're going to open it up. And on this part, well, you also want to trim off all edges that you have. On this part, you don't necessarily have to use the other half piece of tape. You can use clear tip if you want to save on tape. So it's just so we don't have any sticky on the inside of our coin pouch. And get out your card pocket color because we're going to work on those next. You're going to need 6 strips that are 3 3/4 of an inch long, and these are just making your normal card pockets. You take one strip, flip it over sticky side up, and just lay the other one right on top of it. You're just going to do this to all 3 of them. And meanwhile, you can also cut the color that you're going to need for your trim, which is going to be 3 3/4 of an inch long as well. And then for the trim, you're just going to cut in a 1/2 inch. So you should have 3 of the 1/2 inch strips and then one that's just slightly smaller than that. Now go ahead and trim all your pockets and put your trims on them and your ID, and we'll put it together. Okay, you're going to need one strip of tape that's 3 3/4 of an inch long. You're going to cut this like you did your trim, 1/2 inch strips. Lie your first pocket down right under your ziplock. Take a strip, put it half on the card pocket and then half on the wallet itself. You want to make sure this is lined up as you're going, because as you can see in some places mine wasn't, so I had to redo it. So you're going to do this to the remaining 2 pockets. And now when you do your ID, if you did your trim the same color as your wallet itself, you can use a background color, which you'll see here. I'm showing you can use, I used a blue trim, so in this case, I didn't use the background color. But if you use a background color, make sure you put that on before you put your pocket on. Since my card pocket's blue, or my trim is blue, I'm not going to use the background. If it was pink, I would have used the background. So now just take your last piece of tape and line up your ID and put that on. Now cut off any excess. If you have any pockets that kind of went over on the sides, just make sure it's all nicely trimmed now on the edges. Alright, now that that's done, you're going to need one more strip of tape that is 3¼ inches long, and you're going to cut it in between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 inch. And you're going to lay your inside out, roll it down, face down, and you're going to go in 1/4 inch onto the edge, and then fold it over onto the other side. I'm sorry, this clip kind of messed up on this part, so I didn't get to show you. So if you have any questions, go ahead and inbox me, or leave a message down below, and I'll try to help you out as much as I can. And just make sure you cut your little slits so you can get your cards in there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Bye.